What's up, y'all? Toya here, and I am back with another video for y'all. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys either like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Alright, y'all, what is EXPEDITE? EXPEDITE is the app formerly known as DLIVRD. So, if you are not familiar with my What Is series, this is something that I did where I went over details about different apps that I tried. And since I did a video about this app about 2 years ago, I think it's time that we do an update. So, today we are going to be talking about the EXPEDITE app, and we're going to go over everything from signing up all the way to when you get paid. So, let's go ahead and get into it. What is the EXPEDITE app? This app specializes in catering delivery, and for those who might be wondering, is this similar to food delivery? Well, yes and no. I like to think of it as an upscale food delivery because you're going to be dealing with hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars worth of food. Most of the orders that you're going to be completing are going to be done Monday through Friday during your typical lunch peak hours. So between 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. roughly. On average, most of these orders will pay you between $20 to $30 on average, but there are some orders that will pay you pretty well. I think the most that I was paid for a single delivery was like $110, $115, something like that. And I only had to drive like, I don't know, maybe 8 miles, something like that. And that's the best thing about the catering orders. Usually the mileage isn't too bad. Sometimes you do have to go and drive a little bit further than you would like, but they do compensate you for mileage pay as well. So all of this sounds interesting and everything, right? So you're probably wondering, how do I sign up? So in order to sign up, you can visit the website driver.expedite.io/drive. So from here, you'll just go ahead and put in your basic information, name, number, your city, and just answer a few basic questions. Now, when you are selected to do the onboarding, you'll have to put in all your personal information. You have to enter in your insurance information for your vehicle. And of course, you will have to do a background check. You'll also go and set up your payment details as far as how you want to get paid. And that's going to be done through a separate app called Referral. And we'll go ahead and get into that once we get to the payment section. But as far as the overall onboarding, it usually just takes a couple of days for everything to go through, and you'll be ready to get on the road. So you're signed up, your account is activated, and you're ready to accept deliveries. So how do you get deliveries? There's going to be a couple of ways that you will be receiving deliveries. The first way is going to be the most common, and you're going to be receiving orders sent to you directly to the EXPEDITE app. So when an order is sent to you, you're going to have all the information at your fingertips to decide whether or not you want to actually take this order. So it's going to list the pickup location, the name of the restaurant, the food total, the mileage to pick up and the drop off. It's going to include that address as well, and the payout, of course, how much you're going to be getting paid for that order. So depending on what is presented to you, you can go ahead and make a decision on whether or not you want to accept or decline this order. Now, one question that some people might have, are you going to be penalized for declining orders? And the answer is going to be no. There is no acceptance rate, so you can decline all you want. The main thing that they care about is the fact that you are responsive. Now, one new feature that I do love that they introduced is the fact that you can draw where you want to receive your deliveries. So in your account settings, you will have access to a map where you can draw your preferred area as far as where you want to receive your deliveries. So when an order is going to be sent out and it's in your preferred zone, they will send that order to you. Now, they do have another feature where if there's an order that is at a certain threshold for pay and it's outside of your preferred zone, they will send those as well. So for instance, say you're like me and you don't like to get orders that are directly in the heart of downtown. You know, downtown is not only a hassle, but it's about 20 something miles away from my house. So I'm not gonna go downtown to get some of these smaller orders, you know, $20, $30, $40 orders, right? So if there's an order that's available that is paying $110, which I have seen before, you know, I might look at it, I'm like, you know, I might consider it for that price because, you know, it's gonna weigh out, it's gonna equal out for the mileage that I have to drive. So I do love that feature. So you're not getting bombarded with a bunch of orders that you probably wouldn't take because of the location, but you still have that threshold where, you know, if it's hitting a certain amount, you can opt to take it if you want to. Now, the second way to accept orders is through the open order board. So these are going to be orders that people have not picked up, or maybe it's an order that got dropped last minute and it's just open for everybody to see, and you can go ahead and accept it if you like. So it's going to display all the same information where you're going to have to pick up, the food total, the mileage, the payout, all of that. All that information is going to be right there for you. And based off of that information, again, you can go ahead and decide if you want to take that order or not. The other thing I forgot to mention is that these orders are going to be sent to you the day before. Most catering orders, they are placed in advance. So they have to make sure that a driver is connected to that order to make sure that it is fulfilled in a timely manner. So the orders that are sent directly to you, they will be sent to you usually the day before. Every now and then you might get an urgent order. So like I mentioned earlier, maybe somebody dropped an order. They might try to reach out to you, send you an order directly that's going to start within, maybe 30 minutes to an hour, or it's going to go on that open order board. So you finally picked up your first order. So let's talk about what to expect during pickup and delivery. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is confirm the order that you picked up. So like I just mentioned earlier, most of the orders that you're going to be picking up, you're going to be picking those up a day in advance. So they just want to make sure that things are still a go. They want you to confirm that you're still going to be able to take that order. Now, once you confirm it, then you have to start the task. So they recommend that you start the task about 30 minutes before the pickup. So even if you're literally around the corner from the restaurant, you just happen to be in the area, they still want you to go and start that task ahead of time. Now, once you reach the pickup, you can swipe that you have arrived. Now, another note, do not arrive too early to neither the pickup or the drop off. Generally, they do not want you to be no more than 15 minutes early. So if you happen to be there early, just sit around, wait in your car, and then you can go ahead and swipe that you've arrived, and then you can head in and start the pickup. So once you get in, you can advise the merchant of the order number that you're going to be picking up for, and you can go ahead and start gathering all of the food and load your vehicle. In the event that there is a holdup at the restaurant, please let Expedite know. You can reach out to their support, just let them know that, hey, there's a delay at the restaurant. And if there is a very long delay, so if you've been waiting for more than 15 minutes, you actually get compensated wait time. So you actually get paid an extra 25 cents per minute after the first initial 15 minutes. Now, once you've received all the food, you verified everything, then you can swipe that you've completed the pickup, and you can start navigating to the delivery location. Once you arrive, same thing, you do not want to arrive too early. So if you arrive about 20-25 minutes early, just sit tight in your car, wait a little bit, and then you can mark that you've arrived and you can head in. Now, when you're doing this delivery, you are typically expected to complete a setup. So it's just going to be a standard buffet style setup. You can lay out all the pans, the trays, the bags, whatever. Lay everything out in a neat spread. You're not going to come in contact with the food, so you don't have to take off the lids or put the spoons or the serving utensils. You ain't got to do all of that. Just make sure everything's laid out nicely. Take your picture of your setup, and that's it. There's also some occasions where setup will not be required, and the customer will advise you of that at the time. So still, the only thing that you have to do, even if you aren't doing a setup, take your picture and complete your delivery in the app. Now, you just completed your first delivery, and you're probably wondering, how do I get paid? One thing that I have always loved about this app is that you get paid the next day. Business day, of course. So if you did an order on a Monday, you'll get paid on Tuesday. If you did an order on Friday, you'll get paid on Monday. But they did come out with something new, and you can actually get paid within 30 minutes now. So the app that I mentioned earlier, it's called EXPEDITE. This is where you're going to go ahead and set up all of your information, your banking information, how you want to get paid for your direct deposit. Now, using this method is technically going to be called the legacy method, because if you're still using the standard direct deposit next day, you actually get 50 cents deducted from your payout for your delivery. and that's per delivery. So if you're doing a lot of deliveries, you know, that's gonna add up quite a bit. So they have this new prepaid card that you can set up, and you'll have your payments go to this card, and you'll have access to the money within 30 minutes. So there's no right or wrong way to go about getting your money, but just keep in mind, if you are using what is considered the legacy method, you are going to be charged 50 cents for every single order that you complete. So yeah, and that's it. That's everything that you need to know from start to finish about the EXPEDITE app. Now, the thing that I love about catering apps is that you can make yourself a decent amount of money in a short amount of time. You know, these orders, they typically only take about 30 minutes to an hour to complete, sometimes even less. You know, just imagine, you know, even if you take some of these smaller orders that are paying you 20, 30 bucks, you know, that adds up over time. I know everybody wants to aim for those higher payouts, you know, $50 plus, $100 plus, but you got to work your way up there. And speaking of working your way up there is a new tier system for the EXPEDITE app. And I did do a video about this where I broke this whole thing down. So if you guys want more information about that, I would highly suggest that you check out that video. But systems like this is going to be key to how many orders you receive, you know, the types of orders you receive, as far as the payouts, all of that. So like I said, check that out if you want some more detail. But yeah, with EXPEDITE, I would say that this is probably my favorite app out of all the apps that I've done. So it's definitely my go-to, and I do have a lot of content in relation to this app. So if you guys want to check out the playlist, I do have catering how-tos. You know, I go over the equipment that I use, different things like that. That is all on this channel. So make sure you guys check those videos out if you are curious to learn more about catering. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I got for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the EXPEDITE app. And if you guys have anything else that you would like to add, if you have any questions, anything along the lines of that, just let me know in the comments. But before I go, I have to remind you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss a video. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. And as always, stay safe out there and keep grinding.